Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Freedom Friday here on the Ohio Patriot Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host here, the Ohio Patriot, and for today's episode, we're going to talk about Black Supremacist City Councilwoman Victoria Parks continuing to double down on her stupid-ass, retarded bullshit, anti-white racism, etc., and how she has now deleted her X account, among other things right now. Obviously, we're also going to talk about one of the black supremacists who actually beat the shit out of the white people there in Cincinnati a week ago, and a few other things about how chicken shit Vivek refuses to call this out for the black and white hate crime it actually is, or John Husted or anybody else that's in leadership right now in the state of Ohio. Bernie Moreno apparently is now giving that AFTAB Pure Evil, or however you pronounce that guy's name, the guy that's the Cincinnati mayor, 30 days to basically clean up Cincinnati, or he's going to cut federal funding. And it's like, fuck that, dude. The guy's already had a year to do this. Like, stop fucking pussyfooting around and just cut the goddamn shit off now is what it is. But that's the problem with people like Marino, etc., dude, is that they will sit there and be like, oh no, we're going to give another fucking month to figure it out. It's like, dude, they've already had a year to figure it out. Fuck that. Cut the shit off now. Like, it's not that hard, bro. So, anyway, we'll also talk about a couple other things, including the disinformation campaign by a bunch of other black supremacists going around Twitter/X right now, and just basically the accountability by these fucking idiots that don't want to do a damn thing in this country, obviously. But before we get to that, I'm going to discuss some stuff that happened a few years ago with myself. Here's what it is. So, it's about not quite 3.5 years ago, but back about maybe March, I think, of 2022, give or take. That was obviously back when this channel was called something else, and I went by a different name as what it was. Before the network became reality, after Constitution Care became reality in the state as what it was. Sorry, internet's... I don't know what's up with that anymore. It's weird. Like, my router is literally like 6 feet that way. Maybe even less than that. It's literally like there's a table here, and there's another table over there, and somebody at the end of that table. So it's maybe like, yeah, maybe even like 5 feet for that matter. But yeah, it just keeps dipping out for some reason. I don't know if it's just because there's so many different Wi-Fi signals here, or what it is, or it might just be StreamYard. Because it seems like if I do this on Rumble, it doesn't do that. So I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, very, very strange either way. But yeah, so basically going back about maybe like 40 months ago, give or take, is when this happened. It was basically, I had done a stream here on the channel, and I was discussing, I forget what I was discussing at the time, but it was something relating to bearing arms and like an article there and stuff like that. And I was obviously talking about, what America was actually founded upon and stuff like that, which is all true, by the way. We were founded as a white Christian nation, is what it was. If you look at our founding fathers, like almost all of them were Christians at the time. And, but they understood that, like, obviously there was other religions out there, and like you had to give like the whole like freedom of religion thing to everybody else is what it was. We'll just do this like this because it's not, yeah, it keeps dipping on me. But yeah, they understood they had to give the freedom of religion stuff to everybody else is what it was. And the whole point was, though, like, we were built as a white European nation, and it wasn't until, when you look at American history, it actually specifically, we had only taken from white European countries up until the Hart-Celler Act of 1965, the Immigration Act of 65 is what was there, where these two U.S. senators, Hart and Celler, literally sold America out, falsely claiming that there wasn't going to be a demographical shift there. But within a generation, there obviously was, where it went from us going from white European countries like France, Sweden, etc., to now these Central American countries, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Venezuela, stuff like that. And yeah, of course, you have a demographic shift there is what it is. And that's when you basically started seeing the decline of white people being the majority in this country, which now, I was watching something earlier, it was Mark Dice's most recent video, where he was discussing how there's been a census that's been done now that basically says by the year 2045, which is only 20 years from now, that white people would be potentially a minority in our own country right now is what it is. And what's scary to think about that one is you have, when you look at the worldwide population by demographical breakdowns and stuff like that of different races, right now, white people worldwide only make up like 7 to 9% of the actual world race at this point. So we're actually minority, worldwide is what it is. And the fact that everybody wants to be like, oh, you're a majority in America. It's like, yeah, dude, but we're a minority worldwide, literally. And what's interesting is that, we have all those other people called minorities, but yet white people are actually minorities, what it is here. So, anyway, but that basically brings me back to what I said a couple few years back now is what it was, which obviously I was talking about that whole thing. But, I brought up the whole fact of diversity, and obviously this is the autism at the time, and me kind of going autopilot, and I was like, yeah, diversity is death, which at the time, like, I didn't really think too much of it or whatever, but of course, people like Guns and Barbecue took it the wrong way, and everything else like that. And I reiterated that after the fact, that obviously what I meant by that was, when you look at Islamic takeovers and stuff of all these white European countries now is what it is. But the thing is, like, just looking at it in general now, like, three and some odd years later now, like, it's a true statement just in general, dude. Like, you look at what happened in Cincinnati a week ago, like, that is exactly what I'm talking about, dude. You're some random white person just minding your own fucking business trying to stop a fight, and you got a bunch of fucking ignorant YNs walking up and fucking sucker punching in the face is what it is there. So, yeah, it's just absolutely disgusting is what it is. And that's the whole point entirely, is that you have all of this stuff going on right now in our country that nobody wants to address, and nobody wants to address the continued assault on white people in this country right now. And that's a huge issue right now, dude, because that's the truth right now. When you look at what's going on currently in about the last, I would say 5 to 7 years, honestly, there has been so many black on white hate crimes in this country. And not only black on white hate crimes, black on Asian hate crimes, etc. And when you look at the determining factor that is like literally like black criminals, and nobody's willing to call it out for what it actually is, like, that's the problem. We can't have that conversation then. When you're not actually willing to address the shit. And that's what pisses me off about Vir Ramaswamy so much is what it is, because even he's not willing to call this out for what it is, dude. And the guy's trying to run for governor of this fucking state right now. It's like, fuck that, bro. Like, if you're not even willing to call out black and white hate crimes in this country and in the state, like, fuck you then. It's not as if Vivek didn't out himself like 3 months ago for being a fucking nigger baby at that point, dude. Which, by the way, none of us even knew until that dumbass literally spewed out himself is what it is there. So, but of course you got the dumbass Ohio GOP or whoever's behind the X account. They're just like jerking this dude off daily is what it is now for some fucking retarded reason. Which is so stupid because they could easily get a better candidate than Vivek is what it is right now then. But, yeah, it's just fucking infuriating is what it is though. But anyway. So the whole point is, though, is that when you start breaking things down, whether it be, any of these Democrats in power, Victoria Park, Stephanie House, etc. here in Ohio, they hate whites, dude. They do. And it should be an automatic DQ from office at this point. And the fact that it's not is absolutely fucking ridiculous, especially when you have stuff like this right here with current U.S. Senator John Husted talking about it, who was obviously ex-lieutenant governor that was appointed by DeWine to the U.S. Senate there, talking about Victoria Park's fucking anti-white racist ass. Here's what it is. Cincinnati City Council member Victoria Parks is standing by her controversial social media post regarding a fight that sparked national backlash. I love how they say that like that, though. What they don't tell you is what this fucking bitch said was literally that the white people were begging for it. Like, oh, really, bitch? Oh, really? Well, let's talk about that, Victoria. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Holly, the woman who had her fucking face beat in by a bunch of these motherfuckers. Let's discuss that one for a minute, shall we? Did this woman deserve to look like this because she was trying to stop a fucking fight, dude? Or better yet, did Holly, who is a single mother, deserve to look like this now because of getting her fucking face smashed in by a bunch of fucking YNs? This is what Victoria Parks thinks is okay in this country, dude. Thinks is okay in the state of Ohio. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. And what's even more disgusting is you have the fucking Cincinnati local news there basically just sort of glossing over it. But as John Hughes said, he said, truth, protect people and property, or people will stop living, visiting, and investing in your city. Just ask San Francisco. Yeah, it's very true. Very true. So, and then we're going to get to the meat and bones here, which is the piece of shit black supremacist who was a multi-time felon, by the way, in the state of Ohio, and yet wasn't in state prison during this whole thing, which is the main fuckstick in this situation being this black male right here, who was the ringleader of the whole thing, who is named Montavious Merriweather. A 34-year-old man is being named as the ringleader of the violent mob attack on white people in downtown Cincinnati last Friday. So detectives had called Mayweather the catalyst to the vicious attack. He is now facing felonious assault and aggravated riot charges. He'll be facing attempted murder charges, by the way, too. But I think technically in the state of Ohio, the way that our revised code thing works, felonious assault and attempted murder is basically the same thing. It said, the person that was saying this said, here's the crazy part. It said Montavious is already out on bond for the July 10th charge, or for a July 10th charge for receiving stolen property, possessing weapons while under disability, improper handling of firearms in a vehicle, which, by the way, unless you're already a convicted felon, that one really shouldn't be an issue right there on that one, just because, like, unless you're carrying, like, a long gun in the state of Ohio, since constitutional carry is a thing, if you're over the age of 21 and you're legally an adult is what it is, that is obviously not a felon. You shouldn't be catching that charge, but that being said, the fact this guy already seemed to be a felon is most likely what was added on to that, then, if that be the case. And then it said carrying concealed weapons was a 4 charge as well. So here's the real shocker. Merriweather has a deep history of violent crime going back over 15 years. By the way, this is the guy who's, I believe this is the same guy, whose mother, who was in her, like, 70s or whatever, came out the other day and was like, oh, he's such a good boy. He don't deserve that shit. And it's like, bitch, you are the fucking problem in that situation because you're defending your fucking piece of garbage son who is a multi-time convicted felon who apparently was let out on bond for this shit. Or sorry, I guess he's not a convicted felon. He would be a multi-time felony charged criminal who apparently was able to make bond multiple times. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the same guy that was let on $400 bond as it was recently for this assault and battery, which, again, this dude obviously has a fucking, like, laundry list of felonies to his name. Why the fuck is he walking free in the state of Ohio? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's because a piece of shit Democrat DAs in the state, like Connie Pillage, that literally give these motherfuckers a slap on the wrist and say, go about it, go kill some more white people now. Like, that's basically what they're doing, man. They're giving them the fucking caveat to do that shit to begin with. Anyway, it says violent history going back 15 years, set back in 2009. He was convicted of aggravated robbery and burglary, as well as kidnapping with firearms involved, and did 7 years plus 3 more for gun charges, with parole still hanging over him. Then in 2019, a stolen property charge was dropped with no prosecution, and I can almost guarantee that has to do with the DA, so that's what it was. It said, same deal in 2022 with another felonious assault charge ignored again. I guarantee that was Connie Pillage's ass doing that, then, if that be the case. And that's just a few weeks ago, July 10th, he was hit with charges for receiving stolen property, possessing weapons under disability, improper handling of firearms in a motor vehicle, and carrying concealed weapons. Yet he posted bond and walked free. How does someone with this kind of track record keep slipping through the cracks like this? Should repeat violent offenders like him be denied bail? No, we should have 1 to 5 strike laws where they're dead in the fucking ground. That's what it should be, dude, right now, honestly. Like, this guy is a prime example of why we need fucking firing squad death penalties in this state, honestly. And I'm just gonna say it like it is. Like, the guy should be put up against the fucking wall and shot to death, period, end of story. So, and I have no fucking problem saying that shit. Because that's the problem right now in our society. Just a bunch of chicken shit motherfuckers that don't want to actually admit the truth and what the problem is here. So, and really, America has 2 problems. It's a bunch of YN pieces of shit criminals like this, and it's Islam is the other big one. And going on to Vivek's post from a couple hours ago now is what it was. You had him say this shit. Said, when people are afraid to say, I think either he wrote that wrong or it was whoever was on his account wrote this wrong, because it should be what people are afraid to say, not when people are afraid to say. It should be what people are afraid to say in public, what they believe in private. That's when frustration festers and bad things happen. Fighting urban crime shouldn't be a forbidden topic. We're going to have an open conversation in Cincinnati Monday evening. And then that's when I called his ass out and said, no, that's, when you're not actually calling yourself a black and white hate crime, that's what causes a lot of these issues and stuff like that. But then you have this fucking clown who is obviously some YN here, claiming that the white guy here that slapped the Montavious asshole was a Russian immigrant, and claimed immediately the racist at Fox News, Vivek Ramaswamy, run to his defense because white over African American citizens of the United States. And then there's this Don Selman guy claiming, mind you, without any evidence for that matter, there's no proof, there's no anything to back up that the white guy in the situation was any kind of Russian immigrant. They're just saying this shit. But yeah, this idiot here says, this is the Russian immigrant who assaulted a black man instantly defended by white people. He's not a victim. He should be arrested and deported. Guaranteed 99% of white people will defend him because they are anti-black and racist. That includes Trump. Yeah, it says the black supremacists that literally fucking defend every fucking black supremacist piece of shit criminal in this fucking society is what it is, dude. Like, this is the problem, dude. It's no accountability. It's no fucking... It's always them trying to play the fucking victim is what it is, when they aggress for almost every single fucking time is what it is, bro. And that's why so many of the rest of us are so fucking sick and tired of what it is, dude. And that's actually why I responded back to that asshole, and I said, how about actually showing the proof of this? Oh yeah, you won't, because there is none. What there is about 50 different videos of you YNs gang attacking other white people who try to stop the fight. And then what I said back to Vivek actually was Vivek's little statement there. I said, then how about you actually grow some balls, Vivek, and call this out for what it was, a black on white hate crime? You won't, because it would actually be addressing the real issue and could bring about the actual conversation on how to deal with it, which starts by locking up these fucking people. So, and it looks like a lot of people are finally, calling out for what it is too here. You got this Wellspring dweller saying it was a mob attack of white people, or if this was a mob attack of white people dragging a black man through the streets and leaving a black woman clinging to life on the ground, it would be called nothing more than a hate crime. These savages are clearly motivated by racial resentment, one-sided justice, cowardly attack. And that's what it is. And going back to even Mark Dice's video from earlier, he basically hit the nail on the head with it, honestly, dude. A lot of it is fucking envy is what it is. It's these people, and it goes kind of back to the whole crabs in a bucket, crabs in a barrel mentality is what it is there, where, and this goes back to kind of like the ghetto culture is what it is there, where it's basically, you'll have like one person get out on like a football scholarship, or, they'll become a rapper or something like that and make millions off of some stupid ass single or whatever that'll be the case. And what do they immediately do? They get the fuck out of the hood is what it is and never go back. And everybody else is looking at them like, well, take me with you, bro. I don't want to be here either. And those are the people that can never do anything to get themselves out is what it is there. And so instead of, letting that one person leave or whatever, in most cases, they'll like try to latch onto them. And of course, they'll pull them back down. That goes back to the whole crabs in a barrel mentality is what it is there, because what happens is if you throw a bunch of crabs in a barrel, you'll have the top one, try to get out and stuff like that. And it could easily get out if it was just left alone to get out is what it is. But the problem is the rest of the crabs will start, latching on to its different parts of its body is what it is and dragging it back down is what it is there. And at the same time, then you have all these people that are in the ghetto and stuff like that will claim victim mentality and stuff like that, when in reality, they're the aggressors in almost every single case is what it is. And it really reminds me of one story that I heard that came back around more recently in like a clip again that's been recirculating. But I think it's like 4 or 5 years old from like Florida or something like that is what it was, where you had this young black dude who was a criminal who was trying to rob somebody's house, ended up getting shot and killed by the homeowner. And then it was either his sister or his cousin, I think is what it was, that was like, oh, how else he gonna make his money? I don't know, get a fucking job at Dunkin' Donuts or something, you stupid bitch. How about that? How about actually being a productive member of society and not wanting to be a fucking criminal piece of shit is what it is. Like, that's the entire problem, bro. And it goes back to this mindset, or even that one from here in Ohio, like 6-7 years ago now, where it was a Dollar General, and it was, you had the one of the employees that was there be, I believe, a concealed carry holder is what it was at the time, because obviously before constitutional carry became a thing here in Ohio. And you had the dude in that situation who was robbing the place, was basically robbing it at gunpoint, ended up going to leave or whatever the case be or something. I forget exactly how it went down, but basically one of the employees then grabbed out their own concealed carry firearm and shot and killed this dude basically in the entryway of the store, is what it was there. And then it was this dude, this idiot criminals, two moron siblings coming out and being like, oh, he didn't have to be killed for that. That's some bullshit, or whatever the case be. It's like, my God, you people are fucking retarded. And I'm pretty sure that, if I'm not mistaken, since then, it was the brother that was in that newscast with the idiot sister who was saying that shit, who has now been killed too. I'm pretty sure he was also killed for doing criminal shit here in this state. So, like, you cannot fix stupid, man. Like, that's the problem. And I actually heard a good one on X last night, where it was somebody bringing up the fact of, we should actually have an IQ test to even be part of society at this point. I don't disagree with it, honestly, at this point, dude, because it would fix a lot of issues. Or at least, I would say, if nothing else, like, do like an IQ/constitutional based test for voting rights in this country then, because it would be a great way to, like, knock out a whole bunch of dumb motherfuckers from even being able to vote at all, is what it is there. And then you could actually get to the nitty-gritty of things, because you would have way less Democrats in power to be pushing these bullshit things that cause stuff like this to happen to begin with, is what it is there. Because they'd never be voted in the first place, because their moronic voter base wouldn't even be allowed to vote, that's what it is. And it would be a great solution to a serious problem in this country, is what it is there, dude. Going back to the comment section of the Vivek post there, that one idiot that was talking about the guy being a Russian immigrant with no proof continued on about an hour ago and said Vivek is a fraud and a cowardly anti-black racist. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Sounds like some shit an anti-white racist would say, honestly. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens, though, because it's supposed to be on the 4th here, this coming Monday. There's going to be the town hall there in Cincinnati of that Vivek is doing at 5:30 is what it is. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if there's any white people there that call his ass out for not calling it out for being a black and white hate crime is what it is. Speaking of which, by the way, that's another problem we have in our country right now, is the way that you have people being put in prisons, and this is why you have all these black Democrats, etc., who are all like, oh, it's white men that are the fucking problem in this country, or whatever the case be, when you literally have illegal alien Latinos like this fucking piece of shit right here being called a white male suspect. This dude literally abducted a fucking child recently out of a mall in Virginia, there is what it was. And it's like, and yet you call this guy white. It's like, no, he's not white, dude. He's fucking literally brown / Latino is what it is. And they love to do this shit, by the way, in a lot of Democrat states with black males too, by the way, where the guy is like almost black as night at that point. And they're like, he's a white male. It's like, no, he's fucking not. It really needs to be illegal as hell is what it is, dude. Also, now it's coming out that all the DEI hires, there was 300,000 black females that were recently fired for DEI positions and stuff like that. It's like, oh, you mean 300,000 unqualified people that shouldn't have been in positions of any kind of authority to begin with? Good. Good. They should have been fired. So, anyway. But yeah, I'm getting real fucking sick and tired of it, dude. Oh, speaking of the black supremacist society, you have this fucking asswipe right here who went on a whole rant saying that all white people, men, women, and children should be killed and should die. Yeah, that's exactly why I will call out the diversity in this country, dude. So, we don't need pieces of shit like that in our fucking society, is what it is, dude, ever. Just like we don't need pieces of shit like that fucking asshole named Donnie even being allowed to run for office in this nation. This fucking jerk-off socialist commie piece of shit right here, who is now, as of the other day, with the whole attack there in, I believe it was Manhattan, at the building there by the guy who drove from Nevada to New York to kill a bunch of people that was there. This asshole, while calling to defund the cops, is also now calling for a quote-unquote assault that's banned nationwide. Because that's what Islam does, dude. They disarm you and then they kill you. And that's exactly what they're trying to do right now. It's exactly why you see all these fucking Somalis celebrating taking over different state houses and shit like that right now with like 2 and 3 positions and stuff. By the way, none of which are qualified for those positions at all and should never be allowed to be running for those positions ever, especially here in Ohio, with those fuckers Ismail Mohammed and Marina Abduli. This is actually pretty cool. It says, beautiful things from time gone by. This is a Westinghouse gyro ceiling fan, copper oxide finish from the 1920s. That's pretty badass, dude. Although I'm sure like the fact that that's just like 2 rotating blades is like probably not a good thing at all because, you know, yeah, that would cut you up pretty good, pretty fast, honestly, if you got too close to that thing. That is cool though. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like that's the kind of stuff that like white people invented right there, dude. And still runs to this day is what it is. Oh, we got State Rep Josh Williams actually calling out pure evil there in Cincinnati. By the way, for those that haven't heard, I guess as of the other day, Josh Williams is now trying to run for the U.S. Congress to finally get Marcy Kaptur out of office, as if that's going to work out, because the bitch has cheated for like literally fucking 20 different election cycles now, dude. If Frank LaRosa had actually done his job back in 2024 there, a year ago, Marcy Kaptur wouldn't be in office anymore because she literally cheated Derek Marin out of his win there is what it was. He beat her straight up in that fucking race. But yet, because they waited like 3 to 5 days to call the fucking race up in the Cleveland area there because they were trying to do voter fraud for Marcy Kaptur again, she was able to get reelected into office, is what it is, for like over 40 years now is what it is. So, but yeah, Williams was talking about it's a Democrat mayor, Aftan Pure Evil, or Aftab. I think it's Pure Ball or whatever, but the guy's name literally looks like it spells Pure Evil, dude. So it's real people Cincinnati again. Last weekend, brutal assault is the latest example of what happens when weak leaders let violent criminals walk free. Law-abiding citizens suffer because Democrats refuse to enforce the law. I'm seriously considering calling out Josh on this one, dude. About it being black and white hate crimes. In fact, you know, let's go do that right now. Not calling this out for the black on white hate crime. It is exactly why for Victoria Park's immediate removal from office to stop further attacks is exactly these things allowed to happen in the first place. The reason I'm calling out Josh on that one too is because he was the only Republican on Democrat gun control last year, one of the bills, and thank God it never passed anywhere. Yeah, people were talking, that Wall Street Apes underneath that was talking about U.S. is now number one place in the world for destructive climate disasters. 7% of all damage from global disasters in 2025 happened in the U.S. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, I really think it's HARP at this point, man. I think it's HARP manipulation and it's something else going on, because when you actually look at what is going on in our country right now, and like all these heat domes that are suddenly showing up too, for that matter, in the last like couple of months now is what it is. Like the other day, for the second time in less than a month now, my area, the state of Ohio, has had 102-degree temp feels is what it is, due from a heat dome. And it's like, where is all this coming from? Is it them trying to manipulate the weather again? Or is it like Mother Nature being like, no, you manipulate the weather so much here, U.S. government, that now I'm going to come back around and like smack you back the opposite way, is what it is, to try to like, centralize things back to what they used to be. And I think a lot of it very much does have to do with like cloud seeding and stuff like that is what it is, which thankfully, and the reason I bring it up specifically is because the state of Ohio, our General Assembly right now, that's out of office until I believe it is about a month from now or so, give or take, maybe 5.5 weeks or so now. Because sometime in September is when they're coming back into the General Assembly is what it is there for the rest of the year then. So the whole point is, though, is that one of the legislative pieces that they brought forward now is to literally deal with banning cloud seeding in the state of Ohio is what it is there. And other similar things that would be manipulate weather stuff is what it is and stuff. So let's see what Chloe Cole is saying here. This is the chick that was, her come to fame is that she was basically trans as a child and then detransitioned now into her earlier adulthood is what it is here. Okay, so Southern Poverty Law Center just included her in their, quote, hate watch as a far-right extremist for speaking about the experiences of a detransitioner. Truth is transphobic, so I will wear this as a badge of honor over the target. Yeah, SPLC is Padgett, who has faced criticism for his association with individuals identified as part of their far-right and extremist movements with content that aligns with far-right ideologies. The organization features videos from anti-Indigenous writer Jeff Flynn, anti-gender affirming care activist Chloe Cole, as well as far-right commentators Tim Pool, Jordan Peterson, Jack Posobiec, Corey DeAngelis. I think that's the guy that walks around with billboards, what it is. James Lindsay and Ali Strucky, I think it's pronounced Strucky, something like that. Interesting. And the problem I have with the SPLC, dude, is how the fuck are they not being sued to the ground at this point for defamation of character on these people? Because you think about it, right? Like, the whole groups, that whole thing, the Southern Poverty Law Center, was literally created by a bunch of far leftist assholes. That's why they'll never label Antifa on their hate maps, so they'll never label BLM on their hate maps. It's always like these so-called like KKK groups don't even exist anymore. It's interesting too, by the way. If you look at like their whole hate map thing is what it is there on their website, and you look at like different states and stuff like that for where like these supposed hate groups are is what it is. Like probably 75% of them are either random militia groups or they are like pro-Christian, pro-America groups and stuff like that. And then you'll have like these like 25% groups that are like maybe like 25-30% of the group, whatever it is there. And a lot of cases don't even exist anymore, or it's like one chapter that they're making like 10 chapters or something like that's what it is there, where it is like an actual like, pro-Klansman group of like 10 people or something. That's what it is. Like, it's so ridiculous. And the reason I bring it up, obviously, is going back to the whole like individual hate stuff. The one guy that I was actually buddies with back in 2020, who, when I was trying to run for governor there in 2022 for a hot minute, was going to be my lieutenant governor nominee. He's also a direct descendant of George Washington, by the way. And for some reason, he's now gone like this weird, like Buddhist monk kind of deal. He kind of fell off the map there during the during a lockdown stuff, and then came back about a year later and had shaved his head and became like this weird like Buddhist monk type now is what it is. And yeah, like if you look at his Facebook profile now, it's kind of weird. It's basically like basically just him just talking about like using like toning forks and like doing like chakra stuff and all that stuff like that. And I'm just like, okay, you do you, man. Like I'm not about that life, but like, you know, I'm about the 1776 is what it is here. So although I don't know, maybe I should talk to him a little bit more and see if maybe like I'm kind of wondering if some of my health issues might be the fact that my chi is out of balance and stuff like that's what it is. And like maybe I just need to do like get like some negative energy out of my system or something like that's what it is there and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I should have a conversation with him and see if he can't do like a toning fork session around my head and my body and stuff like that, and see if that wouldn't help me out or something. So, or then again, it might just be bullshit, honestly. But you never know, man. Like it might be worth checking out, though. So, but anyway, but yeah, he's still a good guy though, and he kind of gets it, but then he kind of gets a little deep into some things, and it's like, yeah, it's just a sad situation all the way around there. So. Wow. That's interesting. So going back to the different things popping up in the feed now is what it is. You get this one. This guy saying, white women are most desirable demographic among men of all races. Black women are least desirable. Cope and seethe. It says, new study shows 90% of men prefer white women. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, honestly. And it does kind of make you wonder about that one, but then you actually start looking at like a lot of the stuff with the demographical deals is what it is here. It's about the 19th or 20th train I've heard in the past 13 hours now. It's getting fucking annoying. I don't know if they just weren't running about a month ago or so, or in the last month or so, or what it was, or maybe it was just I had so many fans on, like oscillating at the same time that it was just like the oscillation noise is able to keep it from being able to be heard. And now that I just have this tower fan that's like basically library quiet, maybe I'm able to hear it again now or something. It's very fucking annoying though. So, especially when I was trying to go to sleep last night and it was just after midnight, there was one that like blew about 8 times as it was, and then it was like around 223, 225, something like that this morning. Came through again, and then I finally fell asleep in the chair here not long after that one. And then it was about 4:48 this morning. Another one fucking fired off about 6-8 times. And I think it might have been the same dickhead fucking conductor than it was. And then and then I would kind of fall back to sleep again after that, out here still. And then about 6:36, 6:37, something like that this morning, I heard another one fucking flaming through as it was there. And I ended up going to bed in the bedroom there for a couple hours, and then yeah, by 8 o'clock I kept hearing about 2 or 3 of them in a row as it was then. Dude, how I know somebody seriously to do something about this shit, dude. Like I don't care if they erect like some kind of barriers in this area or what the fuck they do, or if they just like put like a dusk to dawn fucking like silence code in place, whatever it is there. They do something, man, because it's just ridiculous now. So. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god, bro. So going back, I need to talk about this one for a minute then. So going back to that John Husted post about Cincinnati, there's what it was. You had this fucking idiot, Democrat guy here, literally having the audacity to say to Husted, pretty wild group is in Ohio, but spend your time bad-mouthing one of the state's best cities. Learn how to be a leader. It's like, my God, you're retarded, bro. I'm actually going to call this dude out. So-called best city represented by black on white paint and extreme violence. What the rest in Ohio call a shithole. And in most cases, it's because of shitholers like electing unqualified Dems into office. So, yeah, it's just fucking asinine bullshit is what it is, dude. But like I said, what's sad is that you have these career criminals Jesus fucking Christ. Going back to the comment section for that Mayweather guy there, or Merriweather guy there, you had this fucking idiot Jacob saying that Mayweather guy is a hero and Mega America stands no chance on the front lines. You realize that most of us Mega people carry daily, right, dumbass? And we have no problem pulling a gun out if somebody's trying to fucking assault us, especially in a gang pack like that. Which, by the way, that's the biggest problem in that situation last Friday, is the fact that none of the white people were armed at all. Because truthfully, what those videos should have showed was about fucking 8 black people getting shot in the face, honestly, in self-defense. So, and then as somebody said here in this one, says, which came first, ghetto behavior, ghetto name? So, yeah, exactly. And that's one thing I thought was very interesting. We look at a lot like the ghetto folks out there and stuff like that reproduce and stuff in this country, dude. It's like, what do they name their kids? It's like Diamond, Mercedes, stuff like that they can never actually afford. So, yeah, and actually this Will guy called it out correctly to the original poster here. He said, slipping through the cracks, lols. Are you fucking joking, right? There aren't cracks. Those are doors held open by liberals in office, judges, and police. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, and what's interesting too is that when you start looking at a lot of this stuff, if these because I actually found out something recently here, because I was just like searching through some stuff or whatever, and it came up in the feed then, and it was a post that somebody made about how when you look at the racial demographics of juries and stuff in this country, and how likely people are to get off depending on what race they are. And it's disturbingly scary, honestly, because if a criminal defendant is a black person, if they actually are like a black criminal, is what it is there, and the majority of the jury is black, they're almost guaranteed to get off like 100% of the time, almost is what it is. I think it's like 87 or 97% of the time, something like that. Whereas if it is a majority white jury, they're still like 75 to 80% of the time getting off with the crime that they committed is what it is there. But if you reverse the races and it's a white criminal on trial and a black jury, they're almost guaranteed to convict. And if it's a white jury, they're still like pretty high conviction rate is what it is there. And then it's like other races too were mixed in there as well, if I'm not mistaken. Like I think there was some Asians, some other stuff there, but obviously a lot of, like, we look at the demographical makeup of a lot of prisons in this country, it basically is like 3 main races. It is black, white, and Latino. Like there's very few Asians, there's very few other folks of any other, ethnic background, whether it be Native Americans, whether it be Samoan Islanders, stuff like that's what it is there, because people don't make up a whole lot of unfortunate races in this country is what it is there. They're, maybe like 1 out of like 1,000 people or something like that kind of thing or something. So, and of course, when it comes to Asians, there's not a lot of Asians that are violent criminals, what it is there, unless they're like part of the Yakuza or something like that, or some other kind of street gangs what it is or something. So, and you'll maybe have like a handful of those people in like some like prison or whatever there. But yeah, for the most part, it's like majority black, and then it's, I would say honestly, if I had to break it down like prison by prison in this country, at least from what I've seen personally, just watching like stuff like that 60 Days In show and stuff like that, and like doing like research over the years and stuff, I would say it's probably about 60% black, probably about, so it was about 40%, maybe 55% black, and then like 30-ish% Latino, and then like 15% white or 14% white, and then like 1% others, what it is there. So yeah, like it's not good, man. And unfortunately, that's exactly why you have a lot of these white guys. They'll go into prison and they'll immediately gang up with some white power gang is what it is, because that's all they have, dude. Like if they don't have that, they're gonna get killed by a bunch of minorities in the fucking prison system. There's what it is then. Whether it be blacks, whether it be Latinos, whatever the case be, doesn't matter. You know? And no white guy wants to be somebody's bitch is what it is, dude. Like ever. So, you know, like you'll basically stick with your own is what it is there. And what's sad is that, you know, going back to, like I said earlier, it's the ghetto. Like really, I think a lot of what America's problem is right now, it's not so much black fatigue, it's ghetto fatigue. It's people being sick and tired of this ghetto behavior being fucking, you know, brought up to the forefront. Being brought up to the forefront and like risen up and stuff like that. And you got these idiots like Sexy Red, etc., that are being promoted everywhere as like the biggest pieces of shit in society, while they're literally rapping about their fucking asshole and pussy fucking colors and shit. And it's like, what the? How is that music, dude? That's just you fucking like talking about what your asshole and your pussy look like. It's disgusting, is what it is. It's just absolutely sickening, dude, is what it is. Honestly, shit makes me fucking want to throw up. Honestly, in most cases. So, anyway, going back down to the comment section for that post about that black supremacist guy that was the ringleader there. This Tito guy said, nothing about that post is a shocker. This is typical of the easy on crime bullshit seen all across America. A shocker would have been that he was kept in jail after being convicted. Exactly. And somebody else said the guy was out on bond $400. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, this is what I don't understand either, is it was like 2 years ago here in Ohio, back in the I think it was 2023, maybe it was 2022 election cycle. Yeah, I think it was 2022 election cycle. So it was the governor's race of 2022. There was a ballot initiative at that point where it was basically allowing judges discretion for how much bail should be for violent repeat offenders and stuff like that. This dude, this Merriweather guy, given the fact of his past criminal shit there, dude, where he had about 15 different felony convictions or 15 different felonies he committed, really is what it is there. The guy should have never seen the light of day after this one. He should have been locked up permanently, and it should have been like Rittenhouse level fucking bonds of like millions of dollars at that point, dude. It should have been at least, I would say, a $2 to $3 million bond, if nothing else, and it should have been all cash bail, it would have been then. And that's how you keep this motherfucker locked up then. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about earlier, what this person said here is what it is about this guy, where it was his idiot mother going on camera and being like, he was such a good boy, he's in school, honor roll, father of 5. Yeah, truth is he's a criminal, taxpayers raise the kids, so they'll probably turn out just like him. Welfare doesn't raise good citizens. Well, the problem is welfare queens that abuse the system don't raise good citizens is what it is, and they expect government to be the fucking baby daddy for them is what it is there, man. And that's another problem that we're seeing quite a bit of now in this country. So, but yeah, actually, I heard a really interesting one last night too. I was watching the actual Justice Warrior guy's channel, and I forget if it was the most recent story he did yesterday or if it was one from a couple days ago. But it was basically about how it was in New York City there, and I don't know if it was just I don't know if it was the entire New York City or if it was supposed to be just Manhattan area or whatever the case be. But it was, I think maybe it was just the entirety of like the island or whatever New York, that makes New York City is what it is there. And he was discussing how when you look at how many people live there versus how many people make up the majority of the crime there is what it is. It's a shocking disparity, dude, is what it is. Because it was something like, I think he said like 3.5 million people or something like that live on that island. But yet when you actually look at who's committing all this like retail theft and stuff like that, it's like 747 people or something like that, dude, or like 793 people or something like that. I think that's what it was. Like it was less than 800 people basically making up all this crime. That was like 95% of the retail crime or something like that. And if they just kept those like 750-ish people locked up for good, like you would have no retail theft at all in that fucking area, dude. And this is what I'm saying. Like it's not like people want to, you know, exacerbate it like it's like all of them or whatever the case be, but it's not all of them, dude. What it is it's like you have this like teeny fraction of people that are maybe like at most like 25% of that race that are the criminality part of that race. But the problem is the other 75% of the race either says nothing and just kind of goes along with it, or they'll be like the Victoria Parks type that get into power and then be like, oh no, those white people deserve to get their asses beat. And they'll try to justify the shit. And what all that does is then lead to more violence than it is, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I've called on Dave Yost this entire past week now to charge these motherfuckers criminally at a state level with hate crimes now is what it is. Because if he does not do that, if he lets this shit stay in Hamilton County, where that piece of shit Democrat County Pillage is the county prosecutor / DA, it's going to be let off. People are going to be let off, dude. And it's going. I guarantee you, in the next year, this shit's going to fester and fester more. And by next spring, next summer, 2026, you're going to see a fucking race war start in Ohio, dude. And it's going to go nationwide at that point. You know, there's a reason why we've been a bellwether, why we've been a catalyst for so many election cycles, dude. And I guarantee you, if something pops off here, it's going to spark shit off in a lot of other states in this country, honestly, too. Because we are at a boiling point in history right now where people are sick and tired of it, dude. And the more and more we allow this shit to happen, the more pissed that you are making white Americans in this country, to the point that white people are going to rise the fuck up in massive numbers and just say, fuck it. And just do what needs to be done. That is what it is, dude. To take back our fucking country by force is what it's going to be then. Am I saying that's what should be done? It all depends, honestly, dude. But yeah, then you got this one. 3 major broadcast networks didn't report at all on the horrendous Cincinnati brawl. Review fines. I'm not surprised at all by that, dude. I'm not surprised at all that the ABC, CBS, or NBC didn't report on the shit, because they're all a bunch of scumbags, dude. They're all a bunch of fucking criminal behaviors is what it is there, because of course they didn't report on it, dude, because it would have actually called out what the problem is in this fucking country, which in many cases is black criminals is what it is. And it's repeat offenders being let off with a fucking slap on the wrist every single time instead of being slapped across the fucking face with fucking harsh-ass sentences is what it is there, dude. I mean, hell, for God's sakes, this fucking ringleader guy in that situation had 10 plus years in our prison system, dude. Like, the guy really should, like, from what he did the original time there, back in the Obama administration era, you should have never seen the fucking light of day for ever again, bro. And the fact that he got back out and was immediately a repeat criminal then, it's like, yeah, throw his ass back the fuck in, dude, especially if he's on parole still. It's like, how hard is that, dude? Like, enforce the fucking laws in the books already is what it is, and you ain't have a fucking issue with this after that then. Speaking of fucking retarded black supremacist pieces of shit in this country, we got good old BLM terrorist himself, Mark Lamont Hill, this fucking idiot right here in the fourth is the black dude there, claims the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad promotes the notion that non-white people are less human. God, what a fucking idiot, dude. That guy really is a fucking moron. For real. But that's the problem when you're a race-grifting piece of shit black supremacist. Like, you're going to continue to pull that fucking crap every single time, dude. because they're just race obsessed is what it is, you know? And I think it's funny because there's also the backlash against Dunkin' Donuts now because the white guy that's in that commercial talking about his jeans and the tan and stuff like that because he's supposed to be doing like some kind of like it's like a golden, I forget what the actual drink is called. It's like some kind of like golden drink or whatever. And he's talking about like a golden tan basically that he got because of like good genes and stuff. And yeah, it's like just basically showing all these leftists like losing their fucking minds and shit. It's hilarious, dude. I'm not even gonna lie about it. It's like hashtag white boy summer. So, but yeah, it just makes me laugh sometimes, dude. Actually, NEA brought up a good one last night on his chat, which is how when it comes to that Sydney Sweeney chick, she kind of looks like she got like touched by like the tip of Down syndrome, basically, or something like that. Like she does have, I forget exactly what somebody said it was then. It was some kind of other thing back in the day that was like considered like beauty marks almost or something. But yeah, when you actually look at her face like full on in a lot of pictures though, she does kind of like she has like a slight like Down syndrome-y issue or whatever going on there. And like once you see it, you can't unsee it. Then that's the problem. And I mean, she still has a really good looking body, obviously. It's just that like weird, like kind of like Downs look in her face is what it is there, which, you know, it's whatever at that point, you know. So it's like that that one funny ass song where it was supposed to be like the Down syndrome girl working out at the gym or whatever, which I'm not so sure wasn't AI honestly at this point. But then people made up like the where it's like all the comment section being turned to like a song and it sounded like an old timey pirate song. And it was some hilarious stuff for sure. I'll tell you that much. Like the one dude's comment was, I guess I'm a chromosexual now or something like that. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. So, but yeah, it's just pretty wild stuff, man. So, That's interesting. Something just popped into the feed here. It was from a channel called Red Ice TV, which they labeled this as how did they put it here? It was Heidi Klum's A Lesson in Race Mixing. Says German supermodel Heidi Klum's marriage to Seal failed. She met the man of her dreams, and he's also German, just like she is. Yeah, it's not surprising, dude. So. We're talking about shutting down a gay ass sport that is football. Yeah, I will say, like, that is, like, I don't know, like, football, basketball, all those kind of sports, like, all that kind of sports ball is just fucking retarded. Like, it's just a time waste, dude. So. And, of course, we got all these fucking white liberal female nutters right here, and a couple of random beta male cucks of various races. Called the Scream Club. Chicagoans are discovering a unique way to relieve stress by gathering on Sunday evenings to scream into Lake Michigan. A bunch of fucking idiots, dude. This Indian guy, they looks like the biggest dipshit of all right there. He almost looks like the kind of guy who's just there to try to get some puss, honestly. So it's like, where's the Dave Matthews Band bus when you need it? For those who don't get that reference, I'll talk about it for a second. It was apparently back. Yeah, apparently it was back around 2001 or so. You had Dave Matthews Band, their bus driver for their bus, didn't realize that their sewage tank in the thing was over capacity or whatever. And so supposedly he had driven over this bridge or whatever and like stopped on the bridge and like hooked up the stuff or whatever, like dump it out into the lake or whatever. Didn't realize that as he was doing so that there was a tour boat coming through, and supposedly the tour boat got just covered in shit, and everybody that was on the boat got covered in shit. There's no video of it, obviously, because it happened in, you know, the pre-cell phone days and stuff like that. But yeah, what a shitty way to go out, man. But at the same time, it's like, you know, where's that bus when you need it now to like spray these fucking idiots that are screaming into the lake is what it is. So anyway. And of course you got all the septum piercing mafia doing their stupid bullshit. Oh, looks like we got some black females here in Toledo, Ohio, fighting each other. I'm not going to show that, obviously, just because of, you know, what you call it. Jesus. So, y'all remember back in 2020, I think this is where we're going to end off today's stream at. Y'all remember back in 2020 with that idiot Andrew Yang, where he was talking about the whole universal basic income thing and how it needed to be done because we needed to have a way to kind of fight automation, but it was like the stupidest socialist communist way to do it, possibly. So yeah, we now have this shit happening, which is a robotics company has created an artificial intelligence or AI-driven shingle replacement system that will complete roofing tasks with a single worker needing to be on the ground. Democrats' illegal cheap labor argument is quickly being replaced by innovation. Well, they want slavery is what it is, dude. They want a slave class. They want a serf class of permanent voters is what it is. Is why you have that piece of shit motherfucker Padilla there in California being like, oh, let's introduce legislation to where any illegal has been here 7 years or longer just automatically get citizenship. Or you can go fuck yourself, you piece of shit, because you need to be thrown out of the U.S. Senate at that point for voter fraud, you fucking cunt. But yeah, this is kind of scary to think about, dude. Like, how quickly our society is becoming, like, human obsolete, basically, across the board. To where you just have, like, some machine put on the fucking roof to do stuff. It's crazy. Or it's like the how they have like entire houses being 3D printed now is what it is. Like, it's just wild stuff, man. Just wild stuff. Oh yeah, speaking about diversity being our so-called strength. We got this bullshit right here. Porch pirate in Florida steals mattress box. What a fucking asshole, bro. Fuck these fucking people, man. Bunch of pieces of shit for real, man. Well, apparently we got this one though as well from that Benny Johnson guy. Saying massive native-born jobs are skyrocketing, foreign-born jobs are plummeting in the last few months. 1.8 million native jobs, negative 1.5 million foreign. The lost jobs belong to criminal aliens who shouldn't have had them in the first place. As it should be. Because again, when you start looking at a lot of this stuff, dude, this is why I hate the fucking liberal argument from many of these fucking people who are all like, oh, but these people deserve to be here. Da, 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 da. It's like, no, they don't, first of all. Secondly, all they're doing by even being in our country is they are undercutting our society and they're undercutting American job wages because they're twofold fucking us over. Because when they're taking these jobs from us, they are undercutting our wages in this nation, and then secondly, by being able to get paid on the table by these criminal employers is what it is, they are openly taking that money out of our economy because every single year in the United States, we have billions of dollars in lost revenue is what it is, whether it be taxable revenue or otherwise for that matter. You have at least like $3 to $5 billion a year being taken out of our economy by these fucking people, dude. That's the minimum amount, by the way. Sometimes it's more than that. Sometimes it's a little bit like under that is what it is, but that's like the baseline, like average really is what it is for the last like 15 years or so. And then what they're doing is they're taking all this money, sending it back home through Western Union or whatever the case be there, and you're having it go back to, Mexico or Honduras or El Salvador or Guatemala or Venezuela, whatever it is there, it doesn't matter, any of those Central American countries. And then they're retiring back there at the age of like 45 or 55 or whatever then. And they're building $1 million fucking mansions back home on our fucking stolen money is what it is, dude. It's a bunch of shit, honestly. Then you got this idiot trying to defend Vivek's ass, saying calling Vivek a deep state loser might be the most intellectually dishonest thing ever read. I'm actually going to call him on that one. Vivek is literally an anchor, baby, by his own admission. He should be nowhere near the highest seat of power in Ohio. Neither should Acton. Parties need to put better candidates. So anyway, but I can't remember what I was saying now. Oh yeah. So basically, you got all these people just being asswipes is what it is there. So. Actually, I think we'll finish up with this one because it goes back to Cincinnati now. So we got this Corey Bowman guy. This guy's actually one running for Cincinnati mayor now is what it is. So that will repeat. Racism in the economy is unacceptable. Know who the real enemy is. A city poorly managed and run by those who prioritize their own interest over the citizens. A house or city divided against itself cannot stand. And then it was Ross Township trustee. What's this article here? Ross Township trustee refuses to resign after posting a racial slur about Cincinnati fight. So Ross Township trustees refusing to resign after writing a racial slur on social media while discussing violence in downtown Cincinnati last weekend. Says David Young shared a video of what police are calling a violent attack downtown early Saturday on his Facebook account with the caption, 10 on 1 is N-word fun. Says post appears to have been deleted from his account. Says Young also commented on another post saying Cincinnati has a problem, and they always had a problem with the black citizens. They're sick animals and won't change. So his fellow trustees called for an emergency meeting Thursday evening to discuss the comments, with multiple trustees said they were appalled by what he said. No, you're just too much of a bunch of chicken shit pussies to actually admit the fucking truth, which is that, yes, Cincinnati has had a black problem for fucking decades now, is what it is, dude. I mean, hell, there's a reason why the Over the Rhine area down there had a whole fucking, like, basically a race war back in 2001. And there was a big-ass fucking controversy then where you had to have a multi-day curfew put in place and stuff like that because it was such a damn fucking riot-scaled shit what it is there, dude. And not calling it out for what the fuck it is, like, 24 years later is the problem again now. Because it's like 2 generations later, these fucking idiots that are doing the same shit now is what it is, dude. And so, anyway, So when asked to read what he wrote by the member of the public, Young repeated his statements out loud, including saying the N-word. That's fucking hilarious, dude. That is some funny shit. So while his fellow trustees and members of the public called for his resignation, Young said that he apologized if he offended anyone, but he will not step down. Fuck apologizing, dude. Double down on that shit. Actually, I would say triple down on that, really, honestly. So he said, I already made a public apology. I already made amends with my God, and if you have a problem with that, I can't help you. So one resident who spent the emergency meeting sitting outside on a tailgate of his truck said these statements made the entire town look bad. This fucking moron saying, this Dan York guy saying, makes us look like a bunch of redneck KKK type people, and that's not true. No, it makes you look like a fucking moron that's refusing to actually back up another white person, you fucking clown. What it looks like is you retard are not wanting to actually call out the fucking bullshit problem in Cincinnati for what it is, dude, which is clearly, obviously, a black and white hate crime is what it is there. And it's been fucking minority criminals being let off the fucking hook for decades now is what it sounds like, honestly. And then you wonder why and it's not even just Cincinnati, dude. It's Cincinnati, it's Cleveland, it's Columbus, it's all these fucking major cities run by Democrats. And in most cases, it's Democrat minority mayors in a lot of cases there, whether it be Justin Bibb in Cleveland, whether it be this fucking pure evil guy down in Cincinnati, whether it be that retarded injured, I guess technically Gither's white, but still, he's still a dipshit liberal, is what it is. They're in Columbus, you know, whether it be the Dayton mayor now that I believe is Indian, whether it be the fucking Toledo mayor that's something else is what it is there, dude. It's like, yeah, it's these fucking criminal-ass Democrats of all races, colors, and creeds that are the fucking problem, because instead of actually dealing with the criminal element in their fucking cities, they're letting it spill over to the rest of the state is what it is. And then you wonder why we have to have constitutional carrying act here in our state so that armed citizenry can fight back against fucking armed criminals is what it is there, dude. It's not that hard to figure out. It's pretty goddamn simple, actually. So, yeah, that York guy's just a fucking idiot is what it is there, dude, for real. Says during the meeting, Young's fellow trustees noted Young's removal would have to be put on the ballot in November. Young is up for re-election. Says trustee Russ McGuiran said he hoped the people of the township would find a replacement for him. This is simply not acceptable in this day and age and will not be accepted in the Ross Township. Fuck all y'all, dude. No, the rest of you assholes that are up for re-election need to be fucking kicked out of office. What it is there, dude. So one resident pressed Young to read the comments out loud, and he eventually did so. So, yeah. It's so fucking stupid what it is, dude. I'm actually going to call out that Bowman guy. Calling this out for the non-white hate crime is called to release repeat criminals chicken shit GOP doing nothing. Stop it. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, man. I think we're all just fucked as what it is right now. So anyway, on that note, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. I got some stuff I gotta do. Still need to take a shower today, is what it is, and probably gonna go do that here in a little bit, and then make something to eat or something, and then do some stuff. So anyway, but yeah, like I said, it's funny to see people freaking out about the Sydney Sweeney and Dunkin' Donuts ads, respectively, and then obviously, what's sad is that we're letting these fucking criminals off the hook and be able to be repeat offenders and stuff like that. Is what it is. And then you got these idiots like Bowman who are trying to run for mayor there, being all like, "Oh, but racism of any kind is unacceptable." Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. When you allow for black supremacy to run rampant in this country for decades, of course you're going to get a little white hate backlash is what it is, you fucking douchebag. And the fact you're not calling out the original problem is the fucking problem. End of story. And it's that simple. I'll see y'all the next one. Obviously, we'll have Honda's chat most likely on Sunday. And then Tuesday, I don't know if I'll do anything in between those ones or not. Actually, before we go to finish off today's episode, I do want to talk about something I got on the other day. I finally got in my new RIT knives from that stuff. So I'm trying to grab the other one here. There it is. So yeah, I want to talk about these two that I got on the other day because they're pretty cool before we leave today. And just to be clear, this is not any kind of advertisement thing or anything like that. This is just what I bought with my own money. Here's what it is. I really do like this one. And I think it's because compared to the green one that I got before, it has a much better like inlay or whatever there to where it actually just feels better in the hand. And yeah, that is a really, really nice looking knife is what it is. And it's very razor sharp out of the box. For $10, you can't go wrong. It has almost a perfect groove in it too for, carrying and stuff like that. The only caveat I would say with this one is that I really wish that the little knobby there was a little bit bigger because it's really hard to flip this thing otherwise. And it's very, very difficult with my arthritic hands to be able to get it without like cutting myself. So, and I think a lot of it has to do with the way that clip is hanging on there. And the problem is if I get rid of that clip, then I'm going to carry a concealed weapon is what it is in the state of Ohio because you have to have the clip on there and be able to clip it into your thing. I wish it was reversible, actually. I wish there was like something right here maybe that I could like switch it forward or whatever then and have it be there because like I said, the way my hand holds on the knife, it's like very hard to flip it open with my hands what it is there. I might just need to put some stuff on it too because it does feel like it's a little bit sticky right now. Yeah, like it feels like it's like sticking in place or something a little bit. But yeah, it's not a bad knife though for $10. And then the other one that I got in is a different handled version of the other one that I've showed before, which is, I also do like these little knife bags too that they came with. But yeah, the other one is this brown handled one is what it is. Which this one actually even feels better than the gray one I have over here. We'll actually show the differences of these two. So there's the side-by-side comparison, I guess it would be there. You got the gray and then you got the brown. And these ones are a lot better because they have a little bit bigger knob is what it is. And yeah, this brown one is really nice too though. It's got the same kind of little chimping thing as the gray one does. And both are very much razor sharp out of the package. So but yeah, they're really nice knives though for what they are, dude. And like I said, for $10, you can't go wrong. The one thing I do like about both these though is that they do have like the inlaid finger there, so where it's like much easier to hold and stuff. And I could see definitely having these to use for stuff. So, or in like a situation where it's like you need a pocket knife situation or whatever. For like SHTF or whatever, just putting these in the go bags is what it is then. Like obviously you don't want to have to get in a knife fight, but if you needed to, like, yeah, I would definitely say take one of those in there. And then, going back full circle, I got my little Flessa here is what it is too, which I'm still got to put like some oil or something on this pivot because this one is not wanting to pivot properly is what it is there. Like every time you try to open it, and that's what I'm saying. One thing I do like about this one is it has like the bigger like push button is what it is there. But the issue is that it doesn't want to really go like it needs to. Like it's not like there's not enough like lubrication or whatever there on the top for it to properly pop out on its own. Like I literally have to like flick my wrist to get it to actually pop properly. But I do like that reverse Tonto though as well, and that was a $13 knife right there. So but anyway, then I got this nice little fixed blade from Walmart the other day that was $8. It's an Ozark Trail 1. It's a 3-inch knife, and it's pretty much razor out of the package. The only thing I don't like about it is the handle only being 4 inches. It like doesn't quite fit in my hand the right way. Like my pinky still kind of hangs weird, especially on this hand too. Like it doesn't quite, like it barely fits on there. Like it feels like I'm like gonna go forward a little bit on that, but this is a very good razor sharp knife, and like I said, for $8, can't go wrong with that one. But anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much the knife show for the day. Put these back in there. Little package things here. So, but anyway, yeah, it's like I said, for $10, man, you can't go wrong with these little Rit knives. Is what it is though. So, and I very much appreciate 704 Tactical for giving me the heads up on that deal because I bought a few of them for other people for Christmas now is what it is. And I'll be handing out a couple of these to folks for Christmas presents and things. But anyway, yeah, good. Go full circle before we finish off today. The problem with our society right now is that you have these candidates that are too chicken shit to actually call out what is really happening in this country. And then they want to be like, oh, but we shouldn't tolerate racism of any kind, dude. It's not even racism, you fucking idiot. It's tribalism is what it is. It's the rest of society has been tribalizing for fucking like a century pretty much. And it's white people are finally just now catching up to tribalism. And it's time to start calling it what it actually is and let us fucking tribalize and just separate how the fuck we want to live is what it is. And we can get down with these racial tensions, what it is that dipshit Obama brought back up in 2010s is what it was then, dude. That have been going on for about 15 years or so now is what it is. So, anyway. But, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised either if that comet thing that's coming down from wherever, that's most likely an alien mothership, is actually what will cause humanity to, like, sort of go insane, then is what it is. Just like that Devil's Den thing that happened the other day with those people that killed some kids or whatever there. Which people were saying, they're like, yeah, why is that making it around so much? And it's somebody mentioned it was because it didn't really happen in that state or whatever then. It does in other states or whatever. But I don't know. It does seem kind of weird that it was making like such major headlines as like almost like a cover up stories that it was there. So who knows? But either way, that's pretty much where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I will be back. Like I said, probably not till next Friday unless I do something in the in between. I might do like a product review on the channel or something like that because I'm going to be getting a little tower fan pretty soon. Here's what it is. That was like $20 on Amazon, so I might just do like a product review stream like that or whatever then. But with the exception of that, I won't do much of anything on. Won't do anything on here in the anytime in the near future. For some reason, my thing keeps popping out of place. There's what it is. My audio. I think it's because I keep touching near is what it is or something. But anyway, so we will have. We'll be back next Friday for something, unless something like major pops off, unless we have like an actual conviction happen or something here in Ohio, or unless something real crazy happens nationwide, like a another massacre of some kind or something like that. Like I might come on and talk about that then or whatever. It's like a special stream or something. But yeah, for the most part, I think we're just gonna do Freedom Fridays going forward now is what it is. I know Guns and Barbecue is now doing streams on his channel again, which I thought was funny because he seemed to disappeared there for about a year, so it was. So I don't know what was going on there. Maybe he finally figured out what I was talking about 3 years ago was actually fucking truth, and he just kind of decided to dip out or whatever then. But yeah, those guys, he's him and the other ones that were involved in all that shit a few years ago. Lucky I didn't see the fuck out of them for defamation of character on that one for the bullshit that they pulled against me because I had every legal right to take them to a lawsuit on that one for that kind of stuff. For the accusations they made against me that were all false claims of BS is what it was. So, but yeah. It's nice to see who your true friends are after that was all said and done, though, because there were people that stuck with me and I saw who the real people were that were sticking up for me as what it was back then. And, I appreciate that from those individuals who it was there. And, I think a lot more people have realized in the past 3 years that what I said was right is what it is. So. And it seems like there's a lot more younger generations now realizing that stuff too is what it is, and they're just kind of sick and tired of all of what it is there, dude. And it's like, yeah, when you got, some small ass part of the society making up the majority of the crime, and then you got another part of the society that shouldn't even be here at all being Islam, trying to take over and turn us into a Sharia law shithole, what it is. Like, yeah, we're all fucking done. Actually, if you want to see something funny, watch that retard finder video that NEA showed on the stream on Thursday night there. That is one of the funniest things you'll ever see, dude, of this guy trying to talk about how Sharia law is better than democracy in America. And it's like, well, first of all, we're a constitutional republic, you jackass. That's number one. And number two, when he talks about Sharia law and like women's rights and stuff like that, it's like, oh my God, bro. But yeah, like, I will never, ever, ever allow Islam to take over my country, ever. Because when all these fuckers are like, oh, no alcohol, no pork, no gambling, no women's rights, where you got all these chicks under like full burqas and shit like that, where they can't, all you can see is their fucking eyes. It's like, fuck all that, dude. Fuck all that. Like, am I saying that we don't need to get rid of the, like, whoring of our society? Yes, of course, but there's better ways to do it than fucking, like, oh, you must force all these women to be second-class citizens and throw on a whole fucking, like, outfit, or they'll be stoned to death if they don't. It's just fucking disgusting. Or it's even worse is, I know there was one a few years back now. It was in one of the Islamic countries there. I want to say it was Iran, but it might have been Iraq. I'm not sure. I can't remember which one it was. I believe it was one of the eyes. That was what it was. But yeah, there was a bunch of young girls that were like, I think they were like 10 to 14, someplace in there is what it was, that were in like some schoolhouse thing or something like that where they were living, because it was like some like boarding school thing almost, or what it was there. And ended up catching on fire somehow is what it was. I don't think it was an intentionally set fire. I think it was just like a lightning strike or something like that, just like hit some power pole or something like that there is what it was, and then just like sent it down to their building and it caught fire or something like that kind of situation. But instead of actually just rescuing these young gals out of this fucking burning building, these dudes that came along were like, oh, do you have your burqas on? Do you have your hijabs on? And they're like, no. And they're like, well, we're not going to save you then. And they let them literally burn to death. Like, what the fuck is that, dude? Like, what kind of sick, disgusting, fucking backward-ass, inbred bullshit is that, dude? Where you're literally going to let a bunch of children be burned alive because they're not putting their fucking headdresses on and shit like that. Like, how fucking stupid is that, man? My God. It's like, yeah, and this is why I'll never let these fuckers take over my country, dude. As long as there is a beating heart in my chest and a breath of life in my body, I will fight to my dying day against those fuckers every single time is what it is. And on that note, that's why you always need to be carrying your ED. In my opinion, right now, the EDC should be gun, knife. I'm trying to think now. Yeah, it should be gun, a knife, some pepper spray, a flashlight. All four of those things I carry, by the way. And then the fifth thing that I carry is a bottle of water, because you never know when you're going to be in a situation where you would need something to drink, is what it is. And for me personally, with my pre-diabetes issues, my mouth gets very dry very quickly, is what it is there. So I definitely need to carry a bottle of water with me at all times to be able to drink off of. So, and hopefully I can lose some weight here pretty soon and get myself into a completely non-diabetic state, is what it is there, and go from there basically. But yeah, until it happens, I'm definitely going to be having to do certain things, is what it is. But yeah, so basically the EDC should always be, all the things mentioned. And then I would even say a fire starter should be added to that too. So whether it be a little lighter or something like that, I do carry a lighter too now, by the way. It's usually like a little Bic stick or whatever then. So I do have my Zippo in the bedroom there that has some lighter fluid in it, but I don't know how long that's going to last for, what it is. I think after a certain amount of time of that lighter fluid that's in those things actually like just goes dry or whatever, and it has to be re-upped every so often, is what it is there, to keep a light on those things, which is kind of silly, honestly, but it is what it is, man. But yeah, I think the Bic stick or something similar to that would be the way to go, though. And then maybe like a ferro rod or something if you have the room for it in your pack or whatever. Then I like to carry a little bag with me, is what it is, though. So yeah, my basic EDC on the day anytime is basically handgun, a bunch of mags, a lighter, flashlight in my pocket, a folding knife of some kind, doesn't matter which one it is right now. And then I'm trying to think what else. Pepper spray. And then usually a water bottle will be the last thing, I think, is what it is. And sometimes I might have something else too on me, but yeah, like that's usually the baseline stuff, what it is then. So whenever I leave the apartment anymore, I don't leave the apartment without a bag with me, is what it is then, just because you never know, man. But yeah, shit be crazy for sure, and people are crazy. So God forbid you're in a situation where you need to defend yourself and your friends and family, etc. There, I'd rather need it. I'd rather have it, not need it, than need it, not have it, is what it is. And if worse comes to worse and you run out of ammo, then it becomes a knife, as a backup. But if you're down to that point, like, you might be just fucked, is what it is. But then again, if you're in a zombie apocalypse kind of situation and you would run out of ammo pretty quick, whatever, in your guns, having that knife could be invaluable to, take out a zombie or two, is what it is then, and save yourself, is what it is then. So anyway, but yeah, on that note, though, I'm going to call it a day, because like I said, it's about 2:30. I got stuff I got to do, and I also got to jump in the shower here in a little bit too as well. It's finally cool enough to where I can actually take one and not be sweating immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here momentarily, and then I will get back to it after that's what it is. So it's been fun. It's been real. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, stay vigilant, always be carrying, and always be situationally aware of where you're at and what you're doing and what everybody else around you is doing, because you never know what's going to happen, and you never know if you're going to have to be that person that defends against a terrorist attack or something else for that matter. So, always be mindful, always be vigilant, and always be ready. Peace out, y'all. Later.